Hello everyone and welcome to this, for now, final video in the Crazy Leela Queen Odds series. I'm Grandmaster Matthew Sadler and we've got another 10, 11, 12 little puzzles for you to try out. Lots of fun, some quite easy, some a bit more tricky, but all of them quite bizarre and incredible somehow. So this is the position, and black's doing all right from a material point of view. Still got the queen. White's won the exchange, but only means doesn't mean very much really. But there is a little bit of a problem. Well, you might notice that the rook is on prise, but Leela doesn't necessarily want to take that one. More importantly, the black king is rather restricted because the bishop on c2 is covering the h7 square. So that means that there are some potential problems for black on the back rank. Now the first step towards Leela setting something up is to try first of all and exploit that weakened back rank. So how do you think Leela tried to do that? Yeah, what Leela tried to do was to play the move rook bf1 and just threatening rook f8 checkmate. Actually, it's a rather tricky thing to defend against somehow. There's one move for black that will give black a slight advantage only, and there's the move in the game that black played that is not great, and that's the move that we're going to have a look at, and that's the move rook g8. So in this position, this is basically winning for white, one for white. How did Leela finish off the game? It's not easy. Not easy at all, but quite beautiful. Well, the key move here is to play the move rook 1 f6. This is an incredible move, actually. What's the idea? Well, obviously the main idea is to play rook h6 check followed by bishop f6, and it's even nicer than that really, because for example, if black were to play a move like knight d3, these moves are quite common for black, blocking the line of the bishop temporarily and getting ready to bring the queen into play, either with a check on c5, which also helps to cover f8, or taking on e5. But in this case, well, maybe just give it a little think and see whether you can find the force mate that white has got. It's rook h6 check, g takes h6, bishop f6, rook g7, and now, just in case, I'll give you a couple of seconds just in case you hadn't seen this far. How does white finish this off? I mean, you might think of rook takes g7, but that's got some problems. But it's really clever. It's rook f8 check. Sort of you don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just speaking for myself, I suppose. But yeah, somehow that pin. Somehow, you've got a rook on g7 that you can take. And you're just ignoring it because what do? King h7, and now can you see the force mate that white has got? It's bishop takes d3 check, rook g6, and then rook h8 checkmate. That is the basic idea. Really, really nice. And if you go g takes f6, well, I could go bishop takes f6 check and then rook f8 checkmate as well. But of course, I'm sure you've seen rook h7 checkmate straight away. Absolutely beautiful. There is one complicated thing that black can do, because after rook f6, the best move that black's got is g6. But then what white plays, white's got this very strong move rook f3 with bishop f6 coming in, and well, I mean, you're just going to pick up that rook on g8 at the very least, and then, well, you're just you're just going to be completely winning after. It's +4 according to the engines, but yeah, the engines sort of go for the good old desperado approach of having to just give back material just to get a few of the white attacking pieces, but then white's just way up in material there, so completely winning. But a really nice move, you know, this rook f1, rook g8, and then rook f6. Really nice. Again, just incredible that Leela can do this, you know, without the queen on. Just make these unbelievably dangerous mating attacks just like that. Incredible. What is this one? Haha, yes, this one. Oh my goodness me. So yeah, this is we've seen quite a few of the games of this player, and he's the kind of guy, I think, who really does like taking the material and showing Leela that yeah, can just take all of Leela's pieces one by one without any problems. And sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And well, here Leela gave a little check and rook e2, and of course anything wins, right? Mate in 33 or 34, you've got the choice, or a -18 or a -17 game. I mean, anything wins. But black played the move knight takes c3, and doesn't completely ruin it yet, but it doesn't make things great. How did Leela play here? Well, the first move that Leela played was rook f3, and of course, by taking that pawn on c3 and removing the knight from the e-file, you yeah, you sort of kept the king there, got the king rather cut off here. So black's got two moves. Let's start at the move that was played in the game, king g6. How did Leela play here? Well, this is a pretty obvious lawnmower mate, rook g2 check, and rook h3. I'm not quite sure why we call it lawnmower. We think it's because of the stripes on the lawn somehow, and the rooks are doing that somehow. But yeah, that's just absolutely clear. Did black have a way of saving himself? He's not surprised to know that he does. Black could play the move king g7. And then you can't play rook g2 check because king f8, and then the king can escape along the e-file. But you can just play rook g3 check when king h8 and bishop h6 is checkmate. So black is actually able to, you know, just to keep the draw there by oscillating between g7 and f6. But obviously that's, yeah, a bit of a downer really when you've had this position a couple of moves before. But yeah, better than losing somehow. But yeah, that was another huge turnaround there in a Leela Queen odds game. Oh, good lord. Well, let's show you the whole game, because this one was just 12 moves in actual fact. So Leela sort of doing its stuff, giving away the d pawn there. Black didn't take it. I think black was just trying to mimic Leela somehow, which is quite funny somehow. Yeah, takes rook d1. Well, the mimicking stops there because Leela hasn't got a queen, so can bring the rook into d1. And black played the move queen e7, which is kind of a bit risky. Knight d5 was played, and black played the move queen f7. Now it's getting really, really risky. Leela played the move e6. So of course, if queen e6, I guess you know which move Leela's going to play. It's going to be knight takes c7. I mean, okay, you know, you're going to be a piece down when you win the queen, but okay, I think Leela will manage that somehow when you look how quickly it's all gone. But black played the move queen g6, and what did Leela do then? Now, it's one of those unbelievable, is it really possible to checkmate a very decent opponent playing at a very decent time control in just 12 moves giving queen odds? And the answer is yes. Knight c7 and rook d7 is checkmate. Again, you know, the knight performing this lovely dual task of defending a pawn and taking a square away, and the rook doing the rest. So yeah, lovely game, really lovely. Yeah, this is another one where you think, well, okay, you know, with such few pieces, how can Leela possibly create any danger? But okay, there's a knight c6 check, and black was not particularly keen on giving up any material. I mean, queen takes b4 is kind of what you now, with a bit of experience of Leela, you sort of say queen b4, just give up the queen, don't get into any trouble. But black played king a5, which is not fatal yet by any means, but you know, there's a little bit of risk there. But why is there risk? Well, can you spot what Leela played here? It's just a way of trying to encircle the black king. It's very shogi-ish. I have to say that Leela's king hunting technique in odds chess is very much like shogi, which is kind of appropriate because shogi, you know, the pieces, you get a lot of them sometimes because you can capture the opponents and then use them as your own. So, but they're much weaker pieces, so you have to encircle an opponent's king. Also because the opponent's king, the pieces can't really go backwards in shogi. So, you know, if the opponent's king moves to your back rank, you know, then you just can't capture the king anymore. I've had that happen a couple of times in my shogi career, and it's very distressing, I can tell you. It really is. It's one of the worst things that can happen to you. But yeah, encircling is really important then to, you know, shepherd the king into an area, and yeah, Leela's really good at this. So what did white play here? White played the move bishop b7. So yeah, the king's not coming back now, and we've got little threats of knight c6. So again, queen takes b4 is pretty much really what you need to do. There's a few other moves, but why be too complicated? But black played the move rook b8, which is really excessively calm, I'd say. And how did Leela finish off the game here? It was knight c6 check, b3 check, and now can you see it? Bishop c1 checkmate. Black, yes, and another victim of just not giving up material in time, you know. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just simply that you know, it's just hard to believe that you could ever be in danger somehow with that few pieces. But what Leela's doing with 3 or 4 pieces is just absolutely incredible. Ah, this one's a nice one. Yeah, the game had featured an early g4 from Leela, and hadn't castle queenside, just played the king to d1 and then to c1 and b1. But it's looking like some sort of normal Sicilian somehow. You just had a white queen. My goodness, you'd feel good about yourself as white. Leela played the move rook takes h5, which I think must have shocked black a little bit. And I mean, black should basically do anything except what he did, which is to take on h5. Well, I mean, you can do it, but it's after rook takes g8, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. But black decided, didn't want to get to put himself in a pin, so decided to, what the hell, give away the rook on c8. You'll be able to take on, you know, might be able to take on e6 at some stage later, although there's a pin at the moment. To be honest, rook takes c8 looks really rough, I have to say, as well. But there's actually there's 2 better moves in this position. Can you see them? Well, there is knight d8 check. That's what Torch wants, and that's checkmate. The bishop covering the rook, the knight giving check there. Another one of those knight looking back lines. But there's even there's another one as well. There's knight g5 check, which is also winning. The rook covered, covering the 8th rank and the g6 square, and the bishop on d4 covering f6. So yeah, 2 double checkmates there. Very unusual indeed. This one I think is against Larry Kaufman, who's obviously done a huge amount in making all this this odds chess yeah, take place. You know, really done a huge amount with it, and also got a pretty good score against Leela at Queen odds. But in this game, he comes off second best. Obviously, yeah, It's pretty impressive structure from white. You know, you're hard to imagine that Leela's queen down here. And well, black played the move e takes f3. How did Leela finish off black? We've seen lots of these, so I'm not going to give you much time for it. It's rook takes g4, knight takes g4, and rook h8 checkmate. And there we are. That's yeah, these attacks along the G and H file. Leela does them so often and so well as well. Incredible how Leela manages to you know, to get that much power without the queen. This was again one of those situations where you sort of think, well, I can't really imagine that there's that much danger for black, and yet, yeah, it all happened somehow. So yeah, I mean, I suppose there's one thing that's a little bit awkward. This knight on g3 is awkward. Dark squares for black are a little bit weak, and this rook on a7 is a little bit odd. How did it get there, actually? That's how I can have a look. White played the move rook b4 and black played rook a7 to avoid putting the bishop passively there. But yeah, rook c4, and black had to decide to do that. So black played a5, but now bishop e5 happened. So that knight on g3 is going. That's a little bit annoying somehow, but okay, you know, we'll cope with that. And black played the move bishop a6 just to knock the rook, but rook c3, and actually it's getting a little bit tricky now because you know, you're looking at taking g3, and the black king is not great, and the rook's out of play there somehow. The black decided, I don't want to lose material, played the move queen g5, looking to play f4, and after rook g3 took on d2. That's what you need to do, right? But what did Leela play now? Well, only got 3 pieces, but in Leela's world, that's enough to make a mate. All these checks, all with checks, all very forcing. Bishop covers e5, f6 and d6, and the rooks mate on the bottom back ranks. And yeah, I mean, you look at the black pieces on a7 and a6, and you say, yeah, it's really like white's got more material there. Those pieces contribute absolutely nothing. Oh, I think this is another game of Larry's somehow. I'm sorry, Larry. I'm I'm really doubling down on you somehow. But this was quite a nice one actually. It's Leela. What move would Leela play here? It's not winning or anything, but it's the pretty obvious move in order to keep the attack going. Yeah, I mean, there's only one move really. It's rook a1, and we've got a few threats. I mean, we're looking to somehow move the rook to a8, and the big threat at the moment is knight d7 check. And after knight d7, then the rook goes to a8, so because the knight on b6 is no longer covering a8. So black decided to play the move queen d8, reinforce the b6 knight, and cover that d7 square. Obviously, the bishop's covering e8, so you can't put the queen on e8 to cover d7, but queen on d8. But how did Leela respond here? Well, it turns out there were 2 threats. That's the cunning thing. Rook a8 check was actually the other threat. And after knight a8, it's bishop a7 check. And again, the black king entombed by his own pieces, and Leela mating with 4 pieces, rook, and 3 minor pieces. That's a pretty... What Leela can do with that set of 4 pieces is quite incredible. We're seeing so many mates with those. Oof. Yeah, this was a player we've seen a lot of here, doing pretty well. Got lots of material very much in white's favour. King a little bit restricted, but the danger seems to be past now. So black played the move b2. How did Leela respond? Well, the king appeared to be safe, but somehow it turns out not to be, because there's the move knight to e6 check. And black's got two replies. Just let you figure that out, just in case you hadn't seen it. So f takes e6, the most obvious move. Yeah, rook d8 is checkmate. Quite surprising with those black pieces around to be caught on the back rank like that. But yeah, obviously knight e6 did that. And after knight e6, you could also play the move king e8, just to avoid that. But then we've just got a different mate altogether. Rook d8 check, and the knight on e7, pawn on f7, blocking in the black king, and checkmate. Black will never get to queen map b pawn. Yeah, this is another one of those things where you sort of say, well, surely here, all the hard work has been done here. And that is indeed true, but I suppose the one worrying thing is that you're thinking, oh, white's maybe going to bring the rook to h3. That would be, rather annoying there. So what black does, very sensible. I could thoroughly imagine doing this in a blitz game. Black plays the move bishop f3. So stop the rook from getting over, and so make your king safe. But what had black overlooked here? Well, with bishop f3, you've stopped the rook getting over to the h3 square, but there was actually something even more dangerous in the position. And it starts with rook h5 check. So the king's only got one move. That's king g6. So can you see the follow-up here? How do we involve this rook on c3 in the game? Well, we go bishop f5 check. The king has to go to f7, and we get the rook into the party, rook c7. So black has to go to the back rank because this bishop is covering here. And what does white have now? White doesn't just have a spite check or a perpetual. White actually has checkmate with bishop e6 and rook h8. Just out of nowhere, just a force mate with just three pieces. And yeah, quite a large black force there somehow. Really amazing, simply amazing. So hard to spot in blitz. Yeah, this is another example, where you're sort of saying, well, okay, white's, there's some danger, but can't be that much, should be able to deal with this easily. And it looks like it. Looks like there's a pretty good barrier for the king. But Leela came up with the move knight g1, and actually what Leela's threatening here is to go knight f3 check, followed by rook h4. Yeah, I mean, it's not as easy as you might think to do this. There's many lines really where black actually just has to give up the queen for the knight on f3 and then just play with the extra material somehow. It's not perfect, but it's better than losing, right? But black played the move e4 here, which is quite natural. Just and after takes, played the move f takes e4 to stop the knight coming to f3. That seems quite natural. Still got your queen around. Going to bring the rook into d8, d2. Looks like it's fine after all. But yeah, what had black missed here? Yeah, it's a very good example of, I think, of an emerge of, I mentioned the book by De La Villa, 50 Mistakes You Should Know, which I think is an absolute stunner. I could definitely recommend it. But he talks about emerging threats. He's got a number of definitions of concepts, and emerging threats is when you with your move you create a threat for the opponent, either make an existing one that wasn't dangerous, or you just create a new one. And this is such a good example as well, because everything's focused on f3 and stopping knight f3, but white has got the move knight h3 check now. And after king g4, yeah, it's not knight f3 mate on h4, it's knight h3 mate on f4. Pieces combining beautifully. Everything that white's got is helping, apart from the pawn on c3. And black is lost. Ooh, let's have a look. What is this one about? Ooh, yes, indeed. So yeah, this is one of those positions where, I mean, black started to queen up, so yeah, it's not great for him, but black is still material up, still hopes definitely that he can do something with this position and put Leela to bed somehow. But it's a bit tough. I mean, there's two bishops, there's a rook, and the black king's a little bit. The black king is restricted, although to be honest, you sort of see the d7 square, and you sort of think, well, should be okay. I mean, white played bishop b5 to take away d7, but now b7's not covered. So I think black thought, okay, rook f2. Let's just grab some pawns, get the rook out of the attack of the king, and let's finish off this game. What had black missed? I've got to say, I'm quite surprised at how much you can achieve with a rook and two bishops like this, because it feels like there's a lot of space for the black king to escape on, but there isn't. Bishop e5 check. So if you go king d8, just give you a couple of seconds just in case you hadn't seen bishop e5. Yeah, we've got rook e8 checkmate. Even more shockingly, this was one that shocked me, I have to say, is you can go back to c8, for example. So not, so you can escape to b7 if you need to. But that doesn't break the mating pattern somehow. That's a really weird thing. I was quite surprised by this one. Rook e8 check and then rook b8 this way. It's just, sort of, is it 90 degrees or something? You know what I mean? Absolutely incredible, this one. So this is very, very serious. And, well, black played the move king b7. And now I'll just give you a couple of seconds to spot how that one went. Easy. Bishop a6. Check. The king's only got one legal move. King a8. And now rook e8 check. Simply incredible. Absolutely amazing, this one. It just looks like there's plenty of room on the board, but the two bishops and the rook do an amazing job in restricting the black king. Ooh, this might be the last one, or there might be one more. I'll just have a look. Yeah, so this is this is the game. It looks like an open Sicilian somehow, although it's not. It was it was a sort of a black Mardima gambit. You're looking at bishop a6. You're saying take it, take it, take it, take it. Okay, white's got quite a bit of material back, but never mind. But black played the move queen b8, and what did white do there? Yeah, it's not always about the king. Sometimes the queen gets into trouble, and knight c6 traps the queen there. So black could carry on and give out material back, but I think writing's on the wall. White's material situation is actually pretty good there, so it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, quite unexpected somehow. You've escaped with your king, but then your queen gets caught on the queen side. Lovely play from Leela. So there we are. That concludes our Queen Odds games, the tactics from the Queen Odds games. I think I went through thousands of them, but I hope you've enjoyed the ones that I extracted there. It's really, I mean, the really great games and very unusual tactics, I think, and definitely some things that you don't normally see. But that really are really evocative and really stick in your mind. So I hope that's going to help your tactics. I think it's definitely helping my tactics. Certainly, if I look at my ratings in Bullet and Blitz at the moment, they've never been as high as they are now, and I'm not getting any younger. So I think that's probably due to all this seeing all these tactics somehow. But there we are. I hope you enjoyed it. Got plenty more planned somehow, so do keep your eyes peeled, keep following the channel, do give a like and subscribe, tell your friends about the channel as well, and hope to see you at the next videos. Thanks for watching.